Hi everyone. Of all the games released last night, I think one of the most impressive was Steve Jackson's Sorcery. This game book that has been lovingly interpreted into a very interactive version is available now and is based upon the book series from the 1980s. This series is very popular. It's not something I experienced as a child, but something a lot of people have read. And this is the first book in that series, and so it will tell you the story that you would have gotten in that book. Because this is a game book, there are many choices with many different outcomes. Because of this, there could be possible spoilers in this video as I make certain choices. Just to let you know, I'm going to make pretty stupid choices throughout because I think it's funny. But if you do not wish to have any possible choice spoiled for you, then I suggest you skip over this video and just go ahead and play the game yourself, since it is very fun, and if you enjoy the Sorcery series, you will enjoy this book immensely. Let's take a look and see how this game book works on iOS, and see what unique things it tries to bring to the genre. You've seen these screenshots before, and as you can see, this is more than just a game book. It represents your choices, at least some of the major choices, on a map, and shows your character progressing through the world. Once you've entered a certain scene, the rest will be done through text, basically, and you will be able to choose different actions to go with. However, once a major scene is done and you're ready to move on to the next part of your adventure, you'll be back on the map and be able to choose the different paths. Sometimes, choosing one path will close off the other path, while in some cases you'll be able to do both. The game features combat. In this system, you decide what number of combat strength you'd like to use, and then your opponent reveals theirs. The AI is pretty tricky, and also, reading the story elements can help you understand what your opponent's going to do in some cases. Sometimes it'll say, oh, they're rearing back for a large attack, or they're going into a defensive position. And these little story elements will help you know how to choose your different actions. The game also features a magic system with several different spells that you can learn. As you go through the game, you will use these in different situations. As you can see, they each require 3 letters or symbols. And what's interesting is that you will not always know what the right spell is for the right situation. However, when you cast a spell, you will see some quote-unquote stars in the sky, or these different letters floating in the sky. And usually there are only a few to choose from, so you only have limited options, which helps for new players, or if you're just trying to figure out kind of what is the best solution for that. So again, they're kind of hiding this multiple choice nature of a game book in this sort of mini game, which is very interesting and very thematic. There's also an inventory screen where you can interact with the different items that you have and look at how many rations, etc. that you have available to you. This is a very cool system, and mostly is just for looks, but again, this whole game book really is surrounded by taking the basics of a game book and adding really great and interesting graphics to them. As you play through the game, you will of course die. There are dead ends all throughout the game. Again, playing this and other game books, I felt like there were actually much fewer dead ends in this game. There was a lot that you could survive through, but there also were times where you would just end up dying randomly. Luckily, if you don't want to completely start over, the game will let you rewind a step and maybe make different decisions to see if you can survive the encounter. Once your adventure is done, I love being able to zoom out and look back and see where you went through and what kind of choices you made throughout the way. It is very interesting and is a very fun way to kind of take a look. I've actually taken screenshots at the end of each of my adventures just for fun to kind of see where I ended up. Eventually, you will make it to Kare or Kahare, where your adventure will end for now, and you'll be given a code that you can use to carry over your character in the future to the next adventure that will be coming out in this series. So far, I've been really impressed with the game. My only major concern is that the adventure is somewhat short. Maybe you can get through it in an hour or two. But again, this is probably just like the book, and new books will be coming out. Another thing is that there's a high level of replayability. I played the first time as a pretty decent dude, helping people, etc. Next time I played through as a complete jerk, avoiding cities or burning them down, etc. And it was a very different experience, but also very fun. I really love other game book series available on iOS. But this one I think deserves special credit. They have done what I enjoy most about iOS board gaming or translating other genres to iOS. They have taken a game book and they have managed to code it with great graphics and great interactions which work well on the system. Inkle has really shown what can be done with a game book on iOS. It becomes a different experience that actually is very true to the book in terms of choices, but makes you feel like you're playing a completely different experience. I really feel like this is a great example of what can be done with game books on iOS, and can be held as an example of what to do going forward in this genre.